Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Pinch punch, first of the month. White rabbits, is it? Or black rabbits? Can't remember. Black and white rabbits. It's the 1st of August. We are in Agosto. Primero de Agosto. Thank God the summer is rapidly sort of passing by. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Vicky Marie. I chat about crime normally, but in the members' lives, we normally chat about all sorts of things. We had a very interesting members' live last night. And of course, if you can't make the lives, you can always watch it as the elite replay crew. Right. Let me not waffle, but I will waffle a little bit. I always waffle in the lives. Some people don't like the waffle. They like a shorter video. All these videos that I do, when I do lives, normally I will then, edit them, make them into smaller videos, because some people I know like watching me but don't like the long videos. So I try and please everybody. I'm a people pleaser. So like this particular video, we're going to talk about two cases. We're going to talk about this very strange case in the UK of a 76-year-old pensioner who has apparently, allegedly, tried to poison 8 children at a Christian summer camp. I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's just even as I'm saying the words, I'm thinking, what? It is a crazy world, isn't it? It is a completely crazy world out there sometimes. Poisoning 8 children at a Christian summer camp. It's like, let that sink in for a minute. So that's the first case we're going to talk about, and that's in the UK, in Melton Mowbray, of all places, which anyone who knows the UK will know that that's where they make the pork pies, isn't it? It just, honestly, you couldn't make all this shit up. And listen, I'm laughing as well because all the children are okay. So nobody's died, luckily. We don't, we'll find out more about it in a moment. So I'm not trying to make light of it. It's a terrible thing. It's just crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. Another crazy thing in this world. And the second thing we're going to talk about is the other crazy case, which of course is the case of the Devil's Den killer, the substitute teacher who, for some unknown reason, murdered a couple who were out hiking on a trail in Arkansas or Arkansas. Why do they call it Arkansas? I thought it was 2 different places. Oh, do you know what? It's like what in America, I always get confused with the geography. But yeah, killed a married couple, and luckily they managed to protect their children, though their children have been orphaned, of course. It's terrible. And we're going to find out a little bit more about this killer. What on earth possesses people to do these kind of things? And is this not only have this couple saved their children, have they saved a load of other children? Because this guy was a teacher who was around children. So they are absolute heroes, not only for saving their own children, unfortunately at the cost of their own lives, but how many children have they saved? How many other people have they saved from this horror? And that's what we're going to talk about as well. So, yeah, first of all, we're going to talk about the alleged poisons. I have to call them alleged. I mean, someone's been arrested for it, but they've not been convicted yet. So first of all, I want to say my thank yous to everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Special thank you to my members. As I say, another enjoyable members live last night. The members lives are every Thursday. They're very intimate, aren't they? We can chat properly about all sorts of things. I try and avoid the true crime cases and do something a little bit different on there. And last night we talked about bad neighbours. And then we talked about a new community in America, in the Ozarks, where it's whites only, and no gay people allowed. So only if you're white American, know about the culture of America, like the killer who's just killed these two parents in Arkansas. He was an all-American boy. Stephen Stearns, Ted Bundy, Brian Koberger, Laurie Daybell. These are all American, people, but they could end up living next door to you. But there'll be no people of ethnic minorities living next door to you, no gay people, so you're fine. Absolute crazy situation over there, encouraged, of course, by the president. But anyway, that was in the members' live last night that we talked about. It's very interesting. And interesting to hear everyone's thoughts. I'm glad to say that, the people that follow my channel, especially the members, they're like-minded as me, and they can see how ludicrous it is, how ridiculous it is, and how it's all going to go wrong pretty quick. Because wait till you've got someone like Brian Koberger living next door to you. He'd get through the, he's American. He's immersed in American culture of serial killing and school shootings. Anyway, don't get me going on that. So that's what we talked about last night. So special thank you to my members, as always. And I think at the end of the summer, at the end of August, I'm going to do a special. Every now and again, I give my members, something back. And I think the next time I'm going to do that is at the end of the summer. So thank you for being a member. What else do I want to say? Thank you to those of you buying me Ko-fis. Now, there's going to be a little bit of waffle before I get into the video, as always. Somebody left me a comment about me waffling too much. Well, some people like the waffle, so I'm going to do the waffle. And if you don't like the waffle, the best thing is not to watch the lives. Wait till the shortened video, the edited videos come out that are shorter and designed for people who don't like the waffle. But there will be a little bit of waffle, as always. Thank you to those of you who've bought me Ko-fis, sent me super stickers. I want to have a little look at the merchandise in a minute on my site, which is on my coffee page. Because quite often, if you link up, you may have noticed on other creators' channels, and it's not their fault, it's just that if you link up your channel with, how can I put it, with a something like Shopify or one of these, it's so expensive. They make everything so expensive. A t-shirt's about, I don't know, £50, £40, £50 or whatever, or a mug would be like £30, etc. And I'm trying to avoid that. So all the prices on my site include postage as well. I try and keep them as low as possible, because obviously it's not even that I want to make a profit with the merchandise. I want people to have my merchandise but I don't want to make a loss on it, of course. That's pretty fair enough, isn't it? So I keep the prices as low as possible. The postage is included in the prices, and it's all on my Ko-fi page. But I'm going to show you the things that are currently available. There's lots of other things I can put on there. It's just a matter of time. I haven't had a chance. But everything can be customized. So if you see them, you think, oh, I'd quite like a mug, but I don't really want that on it. I'd rather have this on it. You can always let me know. You can email me. I can customize anything for you. I can put a personalized message on it. I mean, there's all sorts of things I can do. So you only have to ask. And in fact, I might, if I get around to it, I might start sort of offering that. Because sometimes people don't want to send me an email because they don't want the attention. They want to just go on and order the thing. So I'm looking at it. It's work at the end of the day. The shop is a work in progress. And thank you so much to everyone who's already ordered something. Thank you. What else? I think that's all my thank yous. So I'm going to take the banner off. I'm going to say hello to everyone before I get going properly. So hi, lovely lurkers. A lot of people watch, but they don't watch the live, but they don't like to join in the chat for whatever reason. Thank you so much for watching. Hi, loathsome lurkers. Not sure why you're watching, but hi anyway. Hi to, they're my trolls, by the way, because trolls do watch as well. They don't miss anything. You know, they whinge about me and my channel, but they're still watching years later. It's quite interesting, really. But hi, hope you're okay. What else am I going to? Oh, so hi, replay crew. Very important. Hi, and hi to, and what I'm going to do now is come in and say hi individually to those that are brave enough to venture into the chat. Okay, where are we? Hi, Lily. Hi, Bluebell. Oh, you've arrived safely. I've been thinking about you. You've just had a fry up at Weatherspoons. You go all the way from Australia to the UK, and you've got to have a fry up at Weatherspoons, haven't you? Hope your trip was okay. Hope all your trip was okay. Thanks for putting the white rabbits up. Yeah. Arkansas. That's how it's spelt, Bluebell. Why do they call it Arkansas? It's ridiculous. And why do they have different towns? Any of my American followers, please tell me. Why do you make it so confusing for YouTubers like me, British ones? I don't, you've got all these different Springfields and all these different Washingtons. You've got the Washington State, the Washington, D.C. I'm always getting confused. Doesn't take much to confuse me, especially as far as geography is concerned. And this case in Arkansas, I thought it was Arkansas. And then every time I'd see it, it was Arkansas. And I'm thinking, oh, I've got it wrong. So in that case, where do you get Arkansas from? From Arkansas. Crazy, isn't it? Just part of the crazy world. So anyway, there's a couple of people in the chat there, Bluebell and Lily. They like the waffle. So waffle's important as well. Anyway, so doing my housekeeping is important because at the end of the day, it's the housekeeping keeps the contributions that people make. Even if it's, I don't mean only Ko-fis and things like that. Even just watching, you're making a contribution to my channel. And at the end of the day, there wouldn't be YouTube. There wouldn't be YouTubers, not only me, but other content creators. We rely on people watching us, not only for financial reasons, but because it feels good to know that people enjoy your content, etc. So, it's not a bad thing to be a YouTuber and, get Ko-fis or whatever. It's not, it's people's choices. People have a choice. If you don't want to buy a Ko-fi, you don't buy a Ko-fi. If you want to, you do. And, we don't have the right. I watch other YouTube channels that I wouldn't buy a Ko-fi for. I don't buy Ko-fis, and it's not because I don't want to buy them Ko-fis. It's just as a YouTube creator, sometimes that attracts attention. Like, what I've noticed in the YouTube world, you've got this. That's why I don't like other YouTube channels being mentioned on mine. It's not because I hate them all or anything. There's lots of YouTube channels that I like watching, I enjoy watching. But if you even say that you like them, or that you get attacked by another load of people who don't like them or whatever, like, why are people trying to tell people what to do with their money or with their time? People want to sit and watch a YouTube channel that maybe you think is absolutely rubbish. There's lots of YouTube channels that I think are rubbish, but I'm not going to go and say, don't watch that YouTube channel. I'm not the queen of YouTube. I'm here to tell people what to watch or who to give their money to. We're all, there's nothing to do with me. What YouTube channels, I know a lot of my chatters watch other YouTube channels. What am I supposed to? Oh, you're only allowed to watch my channel, not allowed to watch anybody else's. I mean, it's so ridiculous when you say it out loud. You just think, what? You know, why would somebody tell somebody, don't you watch that channel? And the other thing I've noticed is quite often creators who do say things like that, they're never off YouTube. You know, not only for themselves, they're always watching other people's channels. And, you know, you just think, anyway, never mind. Don't get me going on that. Sorry. It's me. I'm waffling again. But, you know, these are things that really do. It's like, you know, in the great mysteries of life. I know it's not really that important. It's only YouTube, but they are one of the great mysteries of life to me is why watch a channel that you don't like? You know, if you're watching a YouTube channel, you must like something about it. You might not like every single video they put out. You might not agree with every single thing that they say. But if you're watching it, you must like it. Otherwise, why even watch it? It's like, you know, something that it's like if you hate mushrooms. Let's use mushrooms as an example because we've had mushrooms have been big subjects, haven't they, lately? So if you don't like mushrooms, right, you hate mushrooms, you hate the taste, but you keep eating them because supposedly, according to the mushroom murderess, they're healthy and they're good for you. So why eat something that you don't like? You know, it's like I always remember years ago a guy that I worked with. He was on a diet, and he liked 2 sugars in his tea. And I remember saying to him because I was making him a cup of tea. I mean, it's a long story. He was like the internet. Well, it wasn't internet at the time. He was like the computer expert. No, we didn't even have computers. Don't know what. I can't remember what he did actually. But he used to travel around all the Ladbroke shops on a bike when he was on a diet. He used to travel around the Ladbroke shops in Reading on a bike to try and lose weight. Bless him. Scottish he was actually. And he came to our shop for something that needed repairing. Can't remember what it was. He was like a technician. And I said, oh, do you want a cup of tea? And I made him a cup of tea. And I said, oh, you have 2 sugars, don't you? He said, no. Oh, no, that's right. He said, yeah. And then I said, oh, I thought you were on a diet. What, you know, you're still having 2 sugars in your tea. And he said, well, I don't see the point of drinking something I don't like. And I thought, no, you're right. You know, why drink something you don't like? You're going to suffer this cup of tea just for the sake of saving the calories in 2 sugars, which is what, I don't know, how many calories that would be, maybe 30, 50 at the most. And that, you know, it stuck with me that ever since. I don't see the point in drinking something I don't like. I don't see the point in eating something you don't like. I don't see the point in watching something you don't like. It's like, yeah, I'm going to watch this because I'm trying to catch this YouTuber out in saying the wrong thing or catch a horrible photo of them or, you know, them in a live stream. Of course, things can go wrong, can't they? It's like that's what they're doing. They're like watching it and just waiting for something bad to happen. It's just, it's got to be a form of mental illness, that, hasn't it? Anyway, so thank you, Bluebell. Exactly. And not only me, if people want to buy coats and things, not only me, is it? You know, it's other YouTubers. As I say, even YouTubers I don't like. I don't think, oh, why are they buying them a Ko-fi? I just think, well, I don't even think anything, to be honest. It's just like, that's what they want to do. It's their business. Their business, not my business, what somebody does with their money. You know, it's strange. But anyway, there you go. That's life, isn't it? People are strange. As we know from talking about true crime, don't we? There's naught so queer as folk, as they say. So anyway, going back to why I was talking about this. My shop, if you like, then I'm not affiliated to one of these shops that you can connect up to YouTube anymore because it turns out so expensive, you know, for the person who's buying it. I've decided so my shop is on Ko-fi, on my Ko-fi page, which I'm going to put up here, I think, if if I can. So hi Yvonne, don't worry, you haven't missed anything. I'm just waffling as usual. It's all been waffle so far. So this is my Ko-fi page. So that's where my merchandise is, or what is there at the moment. I just wonder, so there's mugs, not the best pictures these, are they? But that's a mug and it's like, may your God go with you, Vicky Marie, and a cup of tea, I think. But it can be, as I say, anything can be put on there. There's a little cushion. I think that says Vicky Marie and a cup of tea as well. May your God go with you. A water bottle, true crime, and a glass of wine. Now, these are computer mats, you know, for your mouse. And this particular one has got Rocky and Riley on it, but then put any picture on it that you want, or any message, maybe a personal message. As I say, you tell me what you want and I will put it on. Computer mats. That's a tote bag, true crime, and a glass of wine. But again, anything can be. So all of these can be customized, and this is a black mug. But you know what? You can have your mug any color you want, whatever your favorite color is. So, you know, if you want a specific thing, you can either, on the coffee link where you can see the shop, you can either send me a message on there, or you can send me an email and say, you know, can you offer me this and what would the price be, etc. And remember that all the prices that are on there are including postage and packing wherever you are in the world. So that all those items are available anywhere in the world. I can get those sent to you and the postage is included. Okay, so now I have finished waffling and now I am going to start talking about the first case. Oh gosh, this is weird, isn't it? Isn't it? This is a case from the UK, believe it or not, a 76-year-old man, I believe, has been arrested on suspicion of poisoning eight children at a Christian summer camp. Oh my God. I mean, when I saw this, I just thought, and a lot of people have sent me emails about this. Thank you so much. I haven't replied to emails for a couple of days, but I will get onto them. But I'd seen it, you know, it's all over the news, obviously, because it's a big thing, isn't it? I mean, you know, where do you even start with this? So this has happened, you know, the fact that it's a pensioner who's done it. It's 8 children that have been poisoned. Now, they're all okay. I just want to make that clear. They've all survived. So maybe there wasn't an intent to kill, but there was definitely an intent to make them ill. Who would do that? You know, they honestly, you really never know, do you? You really never know what's going on in people's heads. So who is this 76-year-old pensioner? The police haven't released his name yet, or as far as I know so far, we don't know who they are. But who would harbour that hatred towards children? You know, obviously we just covered a big poisoning case, didn't we, with the mushroom murders. And, you know, there was a bit of sort of wonderment about the motive there, but I think that was just spite, wasn't it? And this is probably going to end up just being spite, but to poison children. And the thing is, we don't know what they used to poison them either yet. Let's get a little, let me put a video on that will give you a background to it, just in case you don't know yet about this case. Let's see, which one shall I don't know where to start with it, to be honest. Let's start with the police conference, I think. So this is the police conference yesterday. Actually, I wonder. So this happened in Melton Mowbray in the UK. I'm going to get it up on Google Maps. So Melton, this is the area. Let's see where it is in connection. You know, my geography's, oh, it's near Leicester, is it? Oh, so we've got Leicester here, Nottingham, and here's Melton Mowbray, and it is the home of pork pies, isn't it? Or, you know, there's famous pork pies made in Melton Mowbray. So this is where it happened, in this area. Oh, not that far from Birmingham. We got Birmingham, Leicester, Coventry, etc., to give people an idea of the area. And if you are totally clueless with British geography, here's the map of the UK or England, etc. It's here. So it's not far from Birmingham, is it? Sort of the Midlands, isn't it then? Okay, so let's have a look at the police conference. Just when I saw this, I just thought, oh my God, you know, you think the world's crazy. Every day brings another crazy thing, doesn't it? But this is particularly crazy. But I feel like I'm always saying that. This is particularly crazy. This is particularly crazy. It's just one crazy thing after another, isn't it, at the moment? Right. Let me start the press conference. Right. It might be a little, let me fast forward it a bit because getting it ready. Oh my God. Oh, there he is.
This is Assistant Chief Constable James Avery.
There we go.
On Sunday, the 27th of July, a report was received by Leicestershire Police concerning children feeling unwell at a summer camp in Canal Lane, Statham. Following the report, officers were deployed alongside colleagues from the East Midlands Ambulance Service to safeguard those children involved. A triage centre was set up in partnership with East Midlands Ambulance Service to assess all children present at the camp. Following an initial assessment, I can confirm 8 children were taken to hospital as a precaution and have all since been discharged. Officers have been in contact.
So the good news is that they've all been discharged from hospital, so they're okay. So what was the intention here? Just like to disrupt the summer camp? You know, the thing is, when you're dealing with children, I mean, I don't know what poison the person used. It certainly wasn't death cap mushrooms, was it? Because they would be dead, wouldn't they? But, you know, you're dealing with children here, so they're tiny bodies, aren't they? They can't cope with things like adults can. So that's like a real game of Russian roulette, isn't it, to try and poison children with anything? Because, you know, their little bodies can't cope with things that grown-up bodies can. I mean, I'm not saying you should poison anyone, but do you know what I mean? It's like you couldn't be sure that somebody wasn't going to die when you're poisoning children. Just don't know how they're going to react. I mean, who would even do that? And how would they do that? So they must have put something in their food or drink, mustn't they? You know, and the other thing I just want to say, actually, and I want to say earlier and I forgot, this is so worrying because remember, more or less this time last year was the Southport attacks when, Looney Tunes went off and killed those 3 little girls, Elsie, Alice, and BB. And they went off to not a summer camp like this, but a summer activity, a Taylor Swift themed workshop, looking forward to it. It was school holidays. So, and this is like apparently some sort of camp for children. What parents can't even send their children off to a summer school or to have some fun, worrying what's going to happen to them because there's so many psychopaths out there. Oh my God. Just awful, isn't it? You send your children off to a summer school. I've sent my son to a summer school before when he was little. Luckily for me as well, 2 years, I had my own summer school that he came to. But these are not accidents either. These are deliberate things. There's always an accident that can happen when you send your child away anyway, or if you've got a child with you. As we saw with the children swimming on the beach in Spain, you can never guarantee your child's safety 100%, but you don't expect deliberate acts of cruelty against your children when you send them off to summer camps and workshops and things.
With the parents or the guardians of those children who were taken to hospital. I can confirm that a 76-year-old man was arrested
76?
on suspicion of administering poison or a noxious substance.
Oh.
He remains in custody at this time. The investigation is now being led by the East Midlands Specialist Operations Unit Major Investigation Team.
Now, at 76, you think you'd outgrown the angry young man stage, wouldn't you? I think there's a lot of teenagers have a lot of mental health problems, don't they? And then young adults, etc. Surely by the time you got 76, you'd have, not be harbouring all that hate still inside you. And then it makes me wonder, a 76-year-old man suddenly administering poison to children. Can you really believe that that's the first time they've ever done anything? At 76, they suddenly decided to be a twat. Sorry, a twonk. I shouldn't swear. What? At 7? They've probably been a twat all their lives, a twonk all their lives. What else have they done over the years? Just can't believe. It'd be like me waking up now, tomorrow. I mean, I'm not as old as him, but, in advancing years. And thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to go and poison all my students. And I've not done anything for 62 years. And then suddenly I decide that I'm going to poison someone or kill someone or shoot someone or stab someone. This guy's not arrived at 76, in my opinion. He's not arrived at 76 without ever doing anything horrible before. And in which case, how was he even anywhere near children? Or was he near them? Or did he provide the food for their meal or the drink for their meal? Maybe he wasn't even there at the actual camp. There's a lot to come out yet.
And this will allow a full and thorough investigation to take place with dedicated resources. Detectives and uniformed officers remain in the area carrying out further inquiries and to establish the full circumstances of the incident, as well as providing reassurance to the families and the local community. This is a complex and sensitive investigation.
Yeah.
And we do understand the concern that it will have caused. Please be reassured that we have dedicated resources deployed and continue to work with a number of partner agencies as part of our response. We will provide further updates as and when we're able to do so. And I would like to remind people that a dedicated major incident public portal has been created. Details of this can be found on our website. Thank you, and I will take a few questions. So, as you will appreciate, we are in the very early stages of what I've described as a complex.
Joe, I wish these press conferences would sort this out. You can never hear the questions. So all the mics are pointed towards this guy, which is fair enough, but there should be at least one mic pointed towards it because they're asking him questions. We can't hear the questions. We can only hear the answers.
Investigation. Other than explaining that they came down with symptoms of feeling unwell, I'm unable to elaborate any further at this stage.
Can you tell us any more details about the children? What age were they? Where were they from? What were they doing here?
Boys and girls.
So obviously our focus as part of this initial investigation is to show the right care, compassion and support to all those children involved. I wouldn't want to comment any further on those details, so I don't want to compromise any further details within the investigation.
Leicester Live understands
yes.
that children are separated from parents for as much as 3 hours, and that's what's triggered this sort of police over 6 months. Is that true?
So I can't comment any further on that, other than to say that on review of our initial police response, a referral to the Independent Office for Police Conduct has been made, but it would be inappropriate for me to comment any further on that at this stage.
Yeah, now there's another thing that's happened here that I'm going to read out to you in a minute. There's complaints from the parents of the children as to how the police handled it. They wouldn't let them see their children, etc. So we're gonna look at that in a minute. So there's a lot to this. So you know, the parents are complaining about the way the police dealt with it.
This obviously comes as a huge shock to children and the parents. Can you tell us if they're being offered any kind of support or counselling?
So we have specialist officers as part of the overall response that will be engaging alongside partner agencies with both the children involved and their families. As I've said, their care and ongoing welfare is of the utmost importance.
Yeah.
As I've said, at the minute, given the early stages of the investigation, it would be inappropriate for me to comment any further on that.
When he was arrested at the scene and was he part of the summer camp itself?
I'm afraid I won't be providing any further information on the man arrested at the minute. As I say, he remains in custody, being questioned by police officers as part of a live investigation.
How long did he
I'm afraid I can't comment on the exact detail of that at the minute.
Can you tell us when he was arrested?
If it's part of the initial response that went out earlier, absolutely. I'm afraid I haven't got those details to hand at the minute.
So can we just confirm, did it happen on Sunday or Monday?
So please receive the initial call on Sunday, the 27th of July.
That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that was it, basically. Hi, Miss Lee. Yeah, so obviously you can't give much information. I mean, it is the early stages of an investigation. I understand that. I think we all understand that. Of course, what everybody wants to know who is the man who's been arrested? In what way did he try to poison these children, or allegedly tried to poison these children? Was it in food? Was it in drink? Was he there at the actual camp, or is he someone who's provided food, etc.? Yvonne, I know what you're saying. Yeah, why have a press conference when you can't answer questions? But you know, they've got to have a press conference because people will be clamoring. You know, in this day and age, it's like I'm glad they had a press conference at least to say what they could, because you know what it's like. If they don't say anything, then all these, you know what it's like, the conspiracy theories will come out, not only from the social media, from mainstream media. People want something to talk about, don't they? Because they know this thing has happened, because obviously the news is going to get out from the parents or from people who are involved in it. So they've got to say, I think they've got to say something, but yeah, he's restricted to what he can say for various reasons, because at the end of the day, this is going to end up with a court case. He's got to be very careful what he says. So I do think they're in an awkward position, but he's come out just to say what they can say. And we always have to remember at the end of it, there will be a court case. We don't want these 76-year-old twonks lawyer saying, oh, well, you know, he's already been hung, drawn and quartered in the eyes of public opinion, so he can't have a fair trial. You know, so it's, you know, got to be careful. See you later, Bluebell. But anyway, at least he's given a press conference. He's done something. So I want to show you now the place itself. Let's have a look. So we had a look at the Google Maps. So where it is, I'm going to put that down. Got to get my, I've got, as usual, loads of windows up. Let's have a look at this video next. So this place is Stathern Lodge. And look, you can see it from the air there. You can see there's police cars there. Looks like children's things in the gardens there. It was some sort of summer camp that was going on. Let's have a look at this video that'll tell us a little bit more about it.
Disturbing situation is unfolding at Stathern Lodge in Leicestershire, where a man in his 70s has been arrested following an alarming incident involving children at a summer camp. On Sunday, July 27th, 8 children attending the camp suddenly fell ill. Emergency services responded quickly, and all 8 children were taken to the hospital as a precaution. Thankfully, all of them have since been discharged and are now recovering. However, the circumstances that led to their illness have raised serious concerns. Authorities have confirmed that a 76-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of deliberately giving a harmful substance to the children. He is currently in police custody as the investigation continues. This incident has shocked the local community and prompted a full-scale response.
I mean, can you imagine? You know, whether your children were at that summer camp or not, if you live nearby, maybe you know that place, the Stathern Lodge. I expect it's quite well known in the area. It's a Christian camp. You know, it's just shows you religion means nothing, does it? You know, and this guy who's 76, why is it? Maybe he's always harboured an urge to hurt children. You know, just don't know, do you? You can't imagine why someone would want to hurt children. Anytime we hear of that, especially an older person, you know, teenagers do these horrible things, and teenagers, you know, I'm not excusing them, but they're normally going through some angst and this, that and the other. But a 76-year-old man, come on, he must have sorted his angst out by now. Do you think he wants to go out with a bang? Maybe he's one of them. No, he's thinking, oh, well, I'm 76. I'm not long for this world. Maybe he's ill or whatever. You know, I've always wanted to kill children, so I'll just do it now. I mean, you can never work out a motive for these people.
Response from law enforcement agencies. Due to the nature of the situation, the investigation has now been handed over to a specialist team known as the East Midlands Special Operations Unit Major Incident Team. This unit handles complex and serious cases, and their involvement means dedicated resources are being used to gather evidence and determine exactly what happened. To support the investigation, officials have also opened a public portal, asking anyone with relevant information to...
Now, I have to say something when I'm looking at this, and I'm going to show you when I looked at their Facebook page as well. I get a really bad feeling about this place. I don't know, I just don't get a good feeling. It looks like a concentration camp, doesn't it? And it's only a feeling, and I know you can't go by feelings, but it just feels horrible. There's no way my child would be sent to a place like that. It just feels, there's a icky feeling about it anyway. But he may have nothing to do with the actual place itself. Who knows who this guy is?
Come forward. This is a crucial step in piecing together the full picture of what occurred at Stathern Lodge. Authorities are urging the public to share any details that might help, no matter how small they may seem. In addition to the police investigation, an independent review is also underway. The Independent Office for Police Conduct, or IOPC, is assessing how the local police initially responded to the incident. This review will look into whether the response was handled appropriately and whether any improvements need to be made in the future. The
Lessons
community's
learned.
response has been one of
Lessons
shock
learned.
and concern. Local leaders described the events as deeply troubling and emphasized the need for transparency and accountability. They also mentioned that, as a result of the incident, future visits to Stathern Lodge by community groups are now under review. In Parliament, Member of Parliament Ed Arger addressed the situation by stressing the importance of not speculating while the criminal investigation is still active. He urged the public.
It's very difficult not to speculate, though. I know what he's saying, but how can you not speculate? 8 children poisoned. Is this what is it? Was it a Christian camp? Is it to do with religion? Or, we're just 76-year-old man, though, as well, the alleged poisoner. You just think there's something deep here, isn't there? Something deep.
To respect the process and allow investigators to do their work thoroughly, reminding everyone that spreading unverified information could hinder the case. At this stage, the key facts are these. 8 children were affected, all have recovered, and 1 man remains in custody. A dedicated major incident team is in charge of the investigation, and an independent review is being carried out to ensure the response by authorities met appropriate standards. What happens next will depend on the outcomes of these investigations. For now, the focus remains on gathering facts, supporting the affected families, and ensuring that such an incident does not happen again. This situation has left many questions unanswered, but what's clear is that law enforcement and oversight bodies are treating it with the seriousness it deserves. As the investigation develops, more information will be released in due course.
Yeah, we'll get information drip fed to us. Very strange, isn't it? The whole thing, very odd. Who would target children? I mean, seriously, though. And presumably they're not his children. If he's, well, technically they could be, but obviously, they're not. So he's targeting random children. He's targeting them for a reason. I'm starting to think now, is it something to do with religion or, that ethnicity? I mean, we don't know the ethnicity of the children. We don't know if they were Christians or what. We just don't know. So we don't know anything, do we? So we've got to wait. But what am I going to look at now? Because there's a couple of things. Let's have a look at the actual camp itself. So this is it, Stathern Lodge. A youth centre in England. That's what it says about it. It's closed at the moment, I would imagine. It's been closed down. Let's have a look at the photos. Oh, there's only one photo there. See outside. Yeah, so this is, I think you can see that okay. This is it here. Just something about it. It gives me the creeps, actually, which is crazy, I know. But, I get these feelings sometimes about things. I mean, it's a lovely place. There's lots of fields around. It just doesn't feel like a nice place to me. But it's quite desolate, you can see. So surely the 76-year-old guy, he must have been in there. Let's walk down here. Yeah, it's a funny old place, isn't it? With these outbuildings. It looks like a children's home to me, to be honest. I think that's where years and years ago I applied to work in a couple of children's homes. And I mean years ago, like when I was, can't even remember how old, young, very young. And they were very creepy places. It's awful when children end up in homes because, doesn't mean to say they're safe, unfortunately. Anyway, Won't go into that. I think terrible things go on at children's homes, don't they? And this reminds me of a children's home. There's a cottage over there, Canal Cottage. I don't know if that's anything to do with the place. But yeah, to me that looks like a creepy place. And if you ever thought anywhere might be haunted, that would be it, in my opinion, to be honest. So that's the place itself. Let's have a look what the Sun had to say about the distressed parents. So this is the reason there's an investigation into the police themselves, an independent investigation, is because apparently the way the police dealt with it was not good. So we're going to read this Sun article. So, distressed parents of children suspected of being poisoned at a summer camp begged cops to see their kids after the horror incident, a witness has claimed. 8 youngsters were rushed to hospital on Monday after feeling unwell while attending the camp at a site in Statham near Melton Mowbray, Leicestershire. And there it is again from the drone footage. We watched the press conference. So a 76-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of administering poison with intent to injure, aggrieve or annoy, and is being questioned by police. Gosh, so poison, they're actually saying poison there. I presume it doesn't say with intent to kill. It says intent to injure, aggrieve or annoy. A witness has now claimed that distressed parents were unable to see their children for hours after the shocking incident. And in nearby Plunga, a triage, I've never heard of Plunga, but, you know, these places that I've never heard of. A triage centre was set up in the village hall, with witnesses reporting seeing parents screaming at officers as they demanded to see their kids. Leicestershire Police said it had received a report of children feeling unwell at the summer camp on Sunday. However, it was not until Monday that officers were sent to the site alongside East Midlands Ambulance Service, which was called to treat those affected. The Independent Office for Police Conduct, the IOPC, well, we know about those from other cases. That's not, they never find anything, do they? When do they ever actually find that anything was done wrong? It's always, lessons learned, blah, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, bloody, blah, de. Was then referred to the case on Tuesday, relating to the force's handling of concerns over the well-being of children. All 8 children who were rushed to hospital on Monday have since been discharged. That's the good news. They're all okay. The youngsters had been enjoying the summer camp at Statham Lodge, owned by Christian charity, the Braithwaite Gospel Truth, which provides holiday clubs. Straight away, it's giving me the creeps. Just I'm getting a shiver. Let's have a look at the Braithwaite Gospel Trust. Now, you know, I'm sorry, but it's certainly true that often bad things hide in good things. Do you know what I mean? Why do I feel bad about this? Don't know why I feel bad about it, but I do. So it's a charity commission. Let's have a look. The Braithwaite Gospel Truth Trust. So this is the government website about it. The main activities in relation to the charitable objects are providing facilities to groups who have the primary aims of advancing education, advancing the Christian religion, and giving help to the less well-off, providing facilities for Christian education holidays. For example, camping, holiday clubs and sport leisure events, and assisting local Christian groups with pastoral and event needs. Well, yeah, all sounds great, doesn't it? Why does it give me the creeps? I don't know, but it does. Let's have a look on here. Braithwaite Gospel Truth. So they're a registered charity. You know, that means nothing, does it? Anyway, they provide education, training, the prevention of relief of poverty and religious activities. Yeah, I don't know why I don't like this, but do you know what? I shouldn't be cynical, should I? Look at that. A registered charity based in England. Providing facilities to groups who have the primary aims of advancing education, advancing the Christian religion, and giving help to the less well off. Camping, holiday clubs, sport, leisure, and assisting local Christian groups with pastoral and event needs. Sounds like a cult to me. So basically, yeah, you can come to our Christian things and we'll indoctrinate you. It must be just me. I know I am. Oh, look, it was registered on the 16th of August, 1972. So it's been going for a little while. It's a non-profit organisation. This is its area of operation. Yeah. Anybody know anything about this? Anybody had any? If you've had any experience with this charity, let me know. Maybe I'm being a bit cynical. Maybe it's a brilliant charity. I just don't know, basically. Yeah. So what do we think about it all? What's our initial? Who is this man? Why has he tried to poison these children? Somebody's poisoned them. Hi, Geordie lass. Oh, your electricity's been cut off. Oh, well, I'm glad to see it's back on again. Are you back on now, your electricity, Geordie? So, let me know what you think about this case. What could possibly, what reason could a 70-odd-year-old possibly have to poison children? You know, what is the, does it even need a reason? You know, sometimes people are just loopy, aren't they? They don't have a reason. We're going to come to that in a minute when we talk about the Devil's Den killer. So basically, that's what we know so far. I don't think we know any more. 76-year-old man arrested after 8 children. Now, there may have been more than 8 children poisoned. I don't know if that is the totality of the children that were at the camp, or if other children were there but they weren't hospitalized. It seems like these children were hospitalized. Am I saying that right? Don't know. Not because for a precaution. So whatever he's given them, they seem to think it was to make them ill, not necessarily to kill them. But time will tell, won't it? A lot more to come out about that case, isn't it? A lot more to come out there. Yeah, I thought that, Yvonne. He could have gone a bit senile. He could be suffering from Alzheimer's or something. But, sometimes people with dementia, they do bad things. They lose it a little bit. It's possible. I don't know. Well, the thing is, we don't know who he is yet. We don't know what his connection is to the charity, to the camp. Was he one of the monitors there? Was he the organizer? He is, to me, it all feels a bit sort of cultish. Again, like this Jim Jones type thing that we were talking about last night, weren't we? When we were talking about these white this whites only colony that's set up in the Ozarks in America. It's all a bit culty, isn't it? So it's got that feeling to me. But more information will come out. So that's all we know so far about that. So in a minute, I'm going to go on to talk about the Devil's Den killer. Oh my God, the more that comes out about him, he's another one, a teacher. So those of you who don't know, let's have a look, put some photos up. These are the photos of the victims in the Devil's Den murders. So this poor couple, this is a married couple. They were out walking with their children in Devil's Den State Park in Arkansas or Arkansas, which apparently is pronounced, is spelled Arkansas, but you pronounce it Arkansas, in the USA. And yeah, they were hiking. There's let's just get up the full details. So this is Clinton David Brink, who was 43, and his wife Kristen Amanda Brink, 41. They were hiking with their two daughters at Devil's Den. I mean, God, what an appropriate name. Devil's Den State Park. And for some unknown reason that we don't know, they were attacked. Their children escaped. It seems like they managed to protect their children. You know, they occupied the killer while the children ran off. It's unclear what the reason for the attack was. The police have said there's no reason to think that maybe the children were the target. Who knows? Who attacks a family? You know, it's like, it's odd, isn't it? You know, if the guy was after money, or maybe if there was an sex motive, you wouldn't attack a family of four, surely. You would wait for someone to be on their own. Or did an argument break out between them for whatever reason? Anyway, this is the guy that's been arrested. That was the sketch, and I put these two together. Just I wanted to show that, you know, these sketches that people draw in the best will in the world, they quite often do not look anything like the actual culprit, do they? This is the guy. It's another picture of him. Apparently when he was arrested, he was having a haircut. In fact, I think this is his mugshot, because he's still got the hairdresser gown on there. I think they took that in the hairdressers. Look at the state of his hair. Another picture of him here. Oh God, I mean, he just looks like an entitled, angry prick, doesn't he? Twonk, total twonk. What a horrible man. Anyway, apparently he's a teacher. Just for fuck's sake, a teacher. The people are sending their kids off to be taught by him. You know, no wonder he was arrested while he was having his haircut. How he fit that baseball cap on it? How did he even get the baseball cap down over that hair? God, what a knob. Anyway, that's what we're going to talk about in a minute. I'm going to put on my, sorry for those who don't like the waffle, but don't forget, I will be splitting this video into two parts, into two shorter parts. So if you don't want the whole waffly type thing, then fair enough. You can wait till the individual videos come out. But what I am going to do is I'm going to leave you with my videos of my books, etc. Because I'm just going to go and have a bathroom break. And have I got a video I can do? Well, I could, but no, I'm going to leave my videos. I'm going to go and have a bathroom break and get another drink. because it's 31 degrees here in Spain. So those of you who don't know, I'm based in Spain. It's 31 degrees. The heat's climbing up again, I'm afraid. Starting to get hot again. Anyway, for those of you who do not know, I am also a Spanish teacher, and I'm going to put up the video about my books if you want to learn Spanish. Hola, soy Vicky. And are you wanting to learn Spanish? Have you been trying to learn Spanish and it's just you can't put the words together? Common thing that people say to me is, I know a lot of words, but I just can't put a sentence together. So I'm here to tell you how you can learn Spanish through English. Learn how to make sentences, not phrase book Spanish. Learn how to ask questions, answer questions. Right from beginner or whatever level you are, if you're struggling in putting it all together, there'll be a level I can offer you a solution. So I've been teaching Spanish for over 20 years to English-speaking people. And these are the books that I have written. Break the Language Barrier Level 1 for beginners. Level 2 for intermediate or sort of pre-intermediate. Level 3 intermediate. Level 4 upper intermediate. And level 5 for advanced. Because really level 5 is to practice what you've already learned. So if you've already learned a lot of Spanish, but you want some practice with translations, conversation practice, games, etc., level 5 is for you. If you know more than level 1, in other words, you know how to already speak in the present tense, if your grammar has gone past the present tense but you're struggling with the past tenses, level 2 is the book for you. All these books are available on Amazon. Any Amazon, wherever you are in the world that you want to learn Spanish, you can order one of my books from Amazon. The other thing you can do, you may be interested in Zoom classes. I've left my contact details here on the video so that you can WhatsApp me or email me if you want to know about Zoom classes and how they work. Or another way you can learn is, along with the book, have recorded classes to learn. So although we're not sort of face-to-face as we would be on a Zoom class, you can still ask me questions. You can watch the class, on the video, watch the class which goes with the book. All the books have everything is, the classes, I can either teach you face-to-face like we're talking now in Zoom classes, or if either your budget doesn't run that far or you haven't got the time for Zoom classes, we can do it as a course where you get the book and you get the actual recorded classes, and you can learn in your own time, but you can still ask me questions by email, just not in the moment because it's not an actual one-to-one class, but you'll find that is reflected in the price. So if you want more details of how you can become better at Spanish, and remember, it's always progress, not perfection that we're looking for. Perfection is impossible. Believe me, if you're going for perfection, that's not going to happen for a long time, if ever. But communication. I'm back. I'm back in the room. So thank you for your patience. But anyway, I have to have a little break here and there. And I want to say thank you, actually. A lot of you, I think, have bought my Spanish books on Amazon. I don't sell millions of books, but I sell, a few every month, and it's good. Thank you so much for that. And of course, my other book is in fact, I'm just going to play this briefly. I have to play it every now and again because people don't always know about it. Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Did you ever want to know a little bit more about me and my background, how I came to become interested in true crime, how I ended up in Spain being a Spanish teacher? If you want to know a little bit about me, a little bit more about me as a person, you can find my book, Confessions of a Spanish Teacher, on any Amazon site, wherever you live in the world. And I believe that everyone has a story to tell, and this is my story. So it's the story of how I grew up in Manchester in the UK on a council estate, and very humble beginnings, and my journey through personal tragedies, disastrous romances, and triumphs to become a single mum, a Spanish teacher, and an interpreter living in Spain, and eventually a YouTuber reporting on true crime. So it details my various experiences with people and places over 20 years of teaching, over 20 years now. Ooh, where did that go? Of teaching Spanish and interpreting through the backdrop of the recession. Okay, I think that's enough of that. Let's go back now then to this guy. I mean, you know, I know you shouldn't go by appearances, but let me put the picture up actually of the couple. So these are the couple that's up in the right hand corner. This is the couple that sacrificed themselves to save their children. I think that it seems apparent that that's what's happened, that they were somehow this guy attacked them, or for some reason it's not clear yet why he did it. Was he trying to rob them? Was he target the children? Was he just wanting to kill someone just for the sake of it? Had he dreamt about killing someone and then he would just happen to be there on the trail and he took the opportunity of, I mean, it's just odd, isn't it, to attack 4 people? Because, you know, it takes a lot of controlling for one person. I don't think a gun was involved either. I think it was, I think he stabbed them, not shot them. Not to say that he maybe didn't have a gun, of course. Maybe he did have a gun. Maybe he didn't want to make noise. But yeah, it's very mysterious as to how this happened. Maybe they got into an altercation. Could have been an altercation over anything, couldn't it? You know, I was saying like the guy Clinton. I've seen pictures of him on his Facebook wearing a Donald Trump T-shirt. That, you know, people have been murdered for less. Making a political statement. If you make too much of a political statement with what you wear, there'll always be somebody who'll take umbrage with that. You know, either a supporter of Donald Trump, somebody who doesn't like that, or if you're a supporter of, I don't know, Joe Biden or whatever, or a supporter of Gaza or a supporter of Israel. You know, murders have been committed for less. So it's very unclear how this, you know, why this even happened in the first place. But the children are safe. The 2 little girls, they're both under the age of 10. They're safe there with family, but they have been orphaned. They have lost their parents. So now a lot of things are coming out about this guy, and mainly these photos, isn't it? I mean, look, look at him. You know, look at him, his hair, he looks so angry. He's just got that fierce look. You know, when you see that picture, you can see more. Look at the eyes, are very accurately depicted, aren't they? So he hasn't got his eyes like that in that picture. But you know how angry the eyes look. I do think that picture depicts them. But he had a baseball cap on. How he fitted that mop, just how he fitted that hair in there, I don't know. But anyway, he's not got a good look, as he's like so angry, so entitled, isn't he? So he's like, he just strikes me as a total twonk, doesn't he? Awful. He's got that, talk about the eyes being the window to the soul. My God. Right, so I've got a few videos to show you about this guy, because of course a lot of details are coming out about him now. So first of all, let's see his arrest. I think I've got the video. Yeah, this is the video of him being arrested at the hair salon. So I don't know who phoned the police, whether the police had been following him, but he was arrested at a hair salon. So he lived nearby. He'd only just moved to the area. He hadn't been in the area very long, which was the same as the actual couple who were murdered. The guy was due to start a new job the following day. They hadn't been in the area very long either. So, you've got to wonder, why was he in that area? Why was he in the national park that day dressed really weirdly? So he had fingerless gloves on, he had the baseball cap on, he had this rucksack. He had his number plates on his car were covered up. So he's obviously trying to hide his identity in one way, but he carried on driving the same car. To me, this guy is one of those thickos who thinks he's clever. He's like gone out there, committed a double murder, and then gone in a hair salon nearby in the same car that he was using to commit the double murder. He's a thicko. He's a thicko, but he obviously thought he was cleverer than the police. God. Okay, let's have a look at him being arrested. The state of him. I mean, he looks younger, doesn't he, on this video? And why would you let your hair get like that in the first place? When was the last time you had a haircut? I don't know. I've got a son who's a similar age to him. He has his haircut about every 2 weeks, it feels like, because why has he never had it? Why has he not had a haircut for so long? How's it even got like that? So has he got some drug issues? Is he... But he's a teacher. Just the thought, he's been dealing with young people. I honestly do think this couple, they are, not only heroes for saving their own children, but it just makes you wonder, this guy is a teacher. How many other children have they saved by, protected by him? They've sacrificed their lives. Obviously, they're deceased, which is so terribly sad. But now he's been arrested. At least other children, other people, and children especially, are safe from this weirdo. Oh, yeah, just have a little bit off there. I just feel he's got to be in a state of altered reality to ever think that he could just walk into a hairdresser's just up the road from where it happened and not be, that the police wouldn't be onto him. He's got to be in some sort of state of altered reality for whatever, drink, alcohol, drugs, whatever. He is not compos mentis. Sorry, you would presume as well, if he's qualified as a teacher, surely he's got a certain level of intelligence. But it seems to me he's a total thicko, just dumb as anything, to just think he could get away with that. So that was his arrest video. Let's just watch it actually one more time, and then I'm going to move on to another video about it. It's actually quite scary, isn't it, to think this poor girl, anyone walks into, if you're a hairdresser or you work in any of those things, you don't know who's walking into your salon, and what history they've got. I feel like that sometimes teaching Spanish. I'm very suspicious if somebody wants to come along as a single male for classes. It's not happened very often where I felt I go on my gut feeling. I've had some very strange reactions about people. Sometimes I've even, asked my son to be around, so because I felt really strongly that somebody was a bit odd. Not often, not often. I mean, in the sort of over 25 years I've been teaching Spanish, it's probably only happened a handful of times. But so you just don't know, especially here. I mean, here I am in Spain. People get the Gatwick diploma, they get on a plane in Gatwick, and they arrive here, they've reinvented themselves as a person, you know, and I have had some strange experiences. And the same for hairdressers and that. You just don't know who's going to walk in through your door, do you? A murderer, a double murderer walked into this salon, and this girl had to touch him. I bet she had a big shower. I bet when she got home, she had the biggest shower you can imagine. Just trying, she'd actually touched his hair. Ugh, disgusting, man. You know, so, oh. Anyway, that was him. Let me stop that video now. So what else have I got to show? I've got a few videos. So this is the hairstylist now talking about the arrest that we're going to look at now. The poor woman saying, oh my God.
Can be among us.
Yeah, they walk amongst us. They certainly do.
And was living new to the area. She's told us neighbors saw a police presence at his home for several hours last night.
And we can tell you that when she visited the neighborhood, that there was a couple of folks that she was trying to interview. They would not go on camera. That he did live at the address there. Confirmed a huge police presence from 6 o'clock until 11 o'clock last night. And so what we're seeing here is the news video from the salon where the arrest was made last night. Here's what the stylist had to say after what happened last night.
I want to start off first by saying my condolences to the Brink family. My thoughts and prayers are with you all. I couldn't sleep last night thinking about them. And they'll always be in my heart to imagine those little girls. When I saw him, he looked pretty normal. Something did feel off about him. I noticed I was in the break room heating up my food for lunch, and I noticed a black car pulled up. The doors open, so I would see who would pull up. I came back up here, and I noticed the guy just standing over here. As soon as I saw him, something fell off about him. He looked pretty scary. He didn't look like he was okay. He was very timid. He was always with his head down, long hair covering his face. But I didn't want to speak up yesterday after seeing the photos because anything can change from when those pictures were taken, and he looked to be a lot slimmer. But as soon as I saw the pictures, I'm like, that's him. He just looked slimmer. Like I said, he was on the run. He probably didn't eat or, took care of himself. He looked pretty confused. I don't know how to describe it. I saw him. His eyes just looked sunken. Pretty kind of like soulless is what I could describe. He didn't.
Yeah, their hair is beautiful, isn't it? They, as you say, Miss Lee, they are a good advert for their salon. That's a fact. I bet he's bound to have been on some substances or whatever. If he's like out of it like that, nobody in their right mind goes off into a park and murders two people. You know, there's something strange about this guy. That he's either had a mental break, but I don't believe that either. I mean, he's compass mentis enough to go and get his hair cut and to avoid the police for those few days that he did. Though the police did very well in this case, I think. They caught him as soon as they could. But yeah, very nice hair these girls have got.
Want anything cut from the top of his head. He wanted to hide his face. He just wanted a fade on the sides. He didn't really know what he wanted, so I kind of explained to him what kind of haircut would go well with him, with what he had. Yeah, he just didn't want to touch anything from the top. Well, I was about 5 minutes into the haircut when a man pulled up and asking about whose car that was outside, and that's when he would tell him, I believe this is your car. And he just stood quiet. I guess he felt kind of scared.
Can you point it?
As soon as I saw the stickers of, the evidence and stuff, I knew something was wrong, and I asked if if it could be related to the Devil's Den incident, and they said it could have been. Yeah, it's been overwhelming. I've never been in a situation like this, so I just couldn't stop thinking about the little girls that saw his face. He's pretty scary, dark sunken eyes, but it feels like it's too much. I could only imagine the Brink family, what they're going through. I saw the black car and I saw him.
Well, she's lovely, isn't she? She's a lovely person. She's got empathy for the children, for the family. She's got her own trauma to deal with now, knowing that she had to touch him, for God's sake. God, as I say, you'd be bleaching yourself in the shower, wouldn't you? The thought that you touched him. I hope she's okay, just like the family hopes she's okay.
I'm like, okay, a couple things start checking out, but the way that he looked, it's what gave me the chills.
Yeah.
Reading his name. Yes, also with not wanting to write his name to sign in. I will say, just anyone take caution. These people can be among us. Yeah. I would never realize that you could have someone in your chair that has done these horrible things, and just really be on the lookout.
Yeah, they walk amongst us. So I just want to say as well to those of you that are members and watched last night about the all white communities that are being set up. Well, he would have been acceptable in that all white community. He's a teacher. He's European, all American. I mean, look at that hair. So she said he didn't want anything taken off the hair. It looks like snakes, doesn't it? It's weird. So she said he just wanted a fade at the sides, and then he wanted that leaving like that. But there you go. Yeah, he could have gone to Arkansas, couldn't he? He could have gone to the Ozarks and joined in that community that we talked about in Members Live last night, whites only people who supported American culture, killing people and eating burgers. He could have gone there, couldn't he? He could have gone there and he would have been accepted. Good God.
And keep an open mind and, just try and be safe.
My goodness. All right. This is actually a surveillance video of McGann going into the salon.
Yeah, to get his hair cut, which it's interesting that he went to get his hair cut during this time. We do know that he was about to start as a teacher at Springdale Schools, so maybe he was getting a haircut before.
Yeah, fancy going to get your hair cut when you're on the run from the police. So apparently he was due to start a new job, as of course one of the victims, the father, he was due to start a new job as well. Oh yeah, I'm on the run from the police. Oh, I'll just go and get my hair cut, I think, in the same car. So he this one, I swear to God, it's going to turn out he was on some sort of substance abuse, because if you are thick enough to think that hiding your number plate, the police are not going to find your car because you hid your number plate that day, and there he is driving the same car, going to get a haircut. You know, he's been seen on the webcams and things, the park cams. There was that very clear picture of him from the back. Did he really think that there wouldn't have been a clear picture of him from the front as well, and that people wouldn't come forward and say, oh yeah, we know who that is? I mean, I think that takes a level of dissociation that you only get if you either drinking too much, taking too much substances. You're not seeing things as they really are. He's in his own little world. He's not seeing that the police are going to catch him. And then he thinks he's going to start work at a school. Nobody's going to know.
Or orientation, which I think was today for teachers. Or, like she said, trying to cover his face, maybe a disguise. But this is, video of him inside the salon.
What we don't have just yet, and we're working to get right now, is the arrest. Now, you heard the stylist say that he was there 5, maybe 6 or 7 minutes when someone pulled up and said, whose car is this? And we're waiting to get, right now we're working to get video of the actual arrest itself. And you can, or him in cuffs. Okay, well, we're trying to get the video of him being placed under arrest in handcuffs and then walked out of the building.
Yeah, she had to touch him. Oh, that poor girl. She actually
But this is, video of him inside the salon.
What we don't have just yet, and we're working to get right now, is the arrest. Now, you heard the stylist say that he was there 5, maybe 6 or 7 minutes when someone pulled up and said, whose car is this? And we're waiting to get, right now we're working to get video of the actual arrest itself. And you can, or him in cuffs. Okay, well, we're trying to get the video of him being placed under arrest in handcuffs and then walked out of the building. My goodness, the reaction from her, I can't even imagine what she has been through the last 12 hours or so. I'm pretty sure she didn't wake up yesterday morning and whatever dreamed that she was going to be a part of this national story.
Just a normal day of work for her turning into this. Also seeing that video of her in there by herself.
And here's the video of him actually being arrested. And I'm assuming this is state police or Washington County Sheriff's deputies that have come into that salon and then put McGann under arrest. And you'll see him being taken out. Of course, it doesn't show a lot of emotion here. It doesn't show a lot of no resistance at all.
She said in her Facebook post too that, well, as she said in the interview as well, it was just a few minutes in, and when they came in, he seemed to know why they were there. He didn't resist or have any questions for them.
We're going to work on getting some more.
Yeah, he's not saying anything, is he? Because, if you were having your hair cut and the police just walked in and arrested you, you'd be like, what the hell? What you do? What's going on? What's this about? If you were innocent, of course, so it's obvious, clear. He's just like resigned, isn't he? He's just like, oh, well, yeah, murdered 2 parents, left 2 children orphaned, but hey ho, this I have talked about it on a previous stream, and some people might have heard this story before, and in which case, sorry about that. But many years ago, when I worked at the Social Security office in Rusholme, in Manchester, in the UK, I was a civil servant, and I interviewed claimants, people that were coming in to claim for, gyro, Social Security, etc. And one day I was on my way to work, and a lady got on the bus with her little boy, and she tried to pay the bus driver with change. She only had change. So I don't know how much the amount was. Maybe it was £1 or something. It wouldn't have been much in those days. I'm going back 40 years probably. Anyway, she tried to pay the bus driver with change, and I have to say the bus driver, he was a twonk. He was really nasty to her. This woman, she obviously didn't have a lot of money. She's on the bus there with her son. Her son was about 8, I'd say, from what I can remember. I don't remember much about the son. I remember her as clear as day. And the bus driver made a big fuss about it. Oh, I'm not supposed to take, I was going to say monedas then, that's the Spanish. I'm not supposed to take all these coins. And he made a show of her, let's say, on the bus. And we could all hear it. The bus was packed. It was, 8:30 in the morning or whatever, peak hour. And he made a great big fuss of it. Anyway, he accepted it in the end, or maybe she come out with some other money. I don't know what happened. But in the end, she got on the bus with her son. And then when it came to her stop, which is a couple of stops before my stop, she went to... So if people know how British buses are, or were, don't know if they're still the same because I haven't lived in Britain for so long. But basically, you'd get on the bus at the front and the driver would be there and take your money. And then you get off it in the middle of the bus. So the way off the bus was a door in the middle of the bus. So when it came to her stop, she got up. It was about 2 or 3 stops before mine, 2 probably. And she got off the bus with her son. And then she got back on the bus. So she put her son off the bus, left him on the pavement. She got back on the bus, went to the front of the bus where the driver was, and stabbed him in the eye with a pair of scissors. And it all happened so quick, like we didn't realise, everybody, like I say, the bus was packed. We didn't realise what had happened. The bus driver just went like that with his face, but we could see blood coming from his fingers. And she then got back off the bus again. And, oh my God, well, you can imagine, very traumatic. She walked off with a little boy, presumably took him to school. See you later, Yvonne. And presumably she took her child to school. So off I go to work. I got off the bus there as well. I was traumatized of watching this stabbing. People had phoned the ambulance and the police and everything. I was about 19 at the time, so I didn't get involved with all that. Other people sort of took over the actual phoning for help, etc. When I get to work, to the Social Security office, so my manager comes up to me and says to me, right, you've got somebody coming in for an interview this morning, and the police are going to come and arrest them. It was only the person I had to interview that morning was this woman that stabbed the bus driver in the eye on my bus. And he said she's going to come in for an interview for a gyro, it was that she was a claimant. When I looked up her file, she had a big red spot on it. So this is years before computers. And she had this great big thick file, and it had a big red spot on it, which meant a violent claimant. So like for people who used to go out I didn't go out to people's addresses. I could never have done that. I used to interview people actually in the Social Security office, either on reception or in the little booths. We had booths that we used to interview people in. And there was a screen up in those days. And her file was massive with a great big red spot, violent claimant. And I'm thinking, and I said, oh, come on, you've got to be kidding me. And they said to me, look, all you've got to do is keep her talking until the police arrive. The police are on their way. She's due in, 5 minutes. She probably took her little boy off to work, to school, and then came straight to the Social Security office for her interview for whatever it was to do. I can't remember the details, but to do with her gyro, to do with her income support. and I've got to keep her talking until the police get there, which luckily was very, very quick. So literally she came into, you know, because when it, say your appointment was at 9:30, you call them through the microphone. I remember her name. I'm not going to mention her name, but I remember her name as clear as day, because I'll never forget it, because it was very traumatic, like it will be for this poor woman, who, you know, was sat to, you know, cut the hair of this double murderer. So she wasn't a murderer, but she could have killed him. She stabbed him in the eye with a pair of scissors. So I don't know what happened to him, what the outcome was of the court case or whatever. This is the last I know of it. So I called her in on the mic. She came and sat down in front of me. She's a very distinctive person. I remember, as I say, as clear as day. I was about 19. I'd say she was about in her 30s. So she'd be in her 70s now if she's still with us in this world. And I'm sure she had a difficult life. I don't know, you know, I'm not making a judgment against her, and the bus driver had been horrible to her, but it's no reason to stab someone in the eye with a pair of scissors, is it? Anyway, she sat down, we started talking, and the next minute the police appeared behind her, and that was like a relief for me. It was just like, because of course this girl didn't know that the police were coming. She didn't even know she had a double murderer in her chair. I knew that this girl had stabbed the guy on the bus because I was on the same bus. Honest to God, you couldn't make it up, could you? Literally could not make it up. And, you know, thinking about now, I hope her little boy was okay because he didn't do anything wrong. She put him off the bus. She came back on the bus. She stabbed the bus driver in the eye. And presumably he was, I don't even know actually if he was okay, because I know if you stab someone in the eye, that's pretty, but he was compensated because he said, oh, she stabbed me. I remember him covering his face like that, blood coming between his fingers, and he said, she stabbed me. And she's walking off the bus with a pair of scissors in her hand. So terrifying when you're caught up in these things, you know. But I literally, it was only for a couple of minutes. I think she more or less just sat down, said hello, and then the police were there, and that was the last I ever knew of any of it. As I say, I was about 19 at the time, so I didn't follow it up. You know, now, of course, I'd be trying to find out what happened and that. But what I'm saying, those sort of traumas live with you, you know, because that girl, like they just said, she didn't expect to be part of a national experience like this. She's going to be in demand for interviews and stuff, you know. I know, Miss Lee, that we were on the same. I mean, it was just like, couldn't. Thing is, I suppose, you know, when you think about it, reality is so much more weird, isn't it, than fiction. That's what they say. Truth is stranger than fiction, and that is 100%. I swear on my son's life of that happening. I could give you that woman's name, but obviously I'm not going to do that. But I remember her name as clear as a bell. I remember her as clear as a bell. She was quite, let's say, an impressive looking person. She didn't look necessarily aggressive, but she was distinctive, let's say, in her hairstyle, her manner of dress, etc. And then again, and then when it was like me, why me? I mean, when I think about it, why me? Because there was lots of people that could have interviewed her, you know, but I think she was already booked in for that interview. You know, I don't think they just decided, oh, they'll give that interview to me. I think she was on my list that day, you know, so truth is definitely stranger than fiction. But luckily for me, the thing is, at 19, you don't take things so much to heart, do you? You know, it's like I was probably more concerned about what if I was going out that night and what boy I was interested in or whatever. But it was just, I mean, don't forget, you know, I am from Manchester, and, you know, it wasn't an unusual occurrence. I have seen other stabbings and things as well, even those years ago. I know there are more stabbings now that people didn't have like the big zombie knives and things that they have now. But I have seen stabbings on late night buses. I've seen somebody go for someone. I've seen all sorts because, I am from a council estate in Manchester. I'm not from, La La Land. And, I've experienced things which makes you stronger. Now, this poor woman, she's just there working in this hairdresser salon. I expect she's never been involved in anything like that before. Bless her. Sorry, let me play. So I got into a waffle then. Some people won't like that, but there you go. It's a true story.
Of this video as well. We're also trying to get some video as well of of him going into the Washington County Jail, being the intake in the Washington County Jail. Let's talk about if we can. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. And so Bo Russell's been doing this since day one.
Yeah, Saturday.
That's and so seeing all this and seeing it wrapping up at least to this point.
Right. I mean, I think it's an emotional time, right? And law enforcement alluded to that last night. I think a lot of law enforcement took this personally. People have talked about Devil's Den, and especially in the state of Arkansas, we take our park seriously. We're the natural state, right? And so they hit a place that was a lot of people felt safe going on hikes. We've seen on Facebook and social media people saying, "Oh, I've been there all the time. I've never felt unsafe," And so, this has been called, we spoke with the West Fork police chief who said this was such a senseless crime, right? And I think that's what really hit home and had people, as the days went on, become more worried, right? I was worried, being out there, not knowing who's behind this and wondering why there was so little information coming out. Now we know law enforcement probably had more information than they were letting on, so that they could apprehend this guy without maybe scaring him off, And something we just saw in that video that, is really surprising is just how calm he looked, He did not look like a guy who expected he was going to get arrested there in that barbershop. So I think, right now it's kind of a 50-50. People are so happy that this guy's caught, but also two little girls lost their parents, and it's a horrible situation. So, there's still a lot of questions. What was the motive behind this? Why did he get out there? And so hopefully we're going to get some more of that information.
Let's talk about that for a second. There is going to be a news conference at 2:00 today that, of course, we'll carry right here on 5 News Plus and also on Channel 5. I think we're all wanting to know a little bit more than what they released yesterday. And I get that there was limited information last night. They've had now 12 hours to process this. I'm hoping that we find out more.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially as, we're hearing he's worked at other schools in the past. And he was supposed to start working at a school today. I mean, thank goodness they caught him yesterday and he didn't get a chance to start work.
Yeah, he was supposed to start work at his new job at the school that day that he was arrested, or the day after he was arrested. Gosh.
But yeah, so I think we want to know, did people feel weird about this guy? Were there signs leading up to this? What are kind of the protocols when hiring teachers? These are all questions I think people are asking, and it's worrisome, so that's where I think we're at.
And we do know, I guess, that he had taught at least 2 schools.
Sand Springs and Broken Arrow,
and then
Oklahoma,
a school in Texas as well, and moved here from Oklahoma recently, to which the victims had also moved here recently. So the whole situation, there's just a lot of questions surrounding this. And you were at the press conference last night where they said they probably won't release a lot about the motive until they're still investigating that. So.
That's right. Yeah, we're probably not going to hear a lot about the motive today. We might, we don't know. But I think we can start putting some pieces together, right?
Right. I'm just going to fast forward a bit because this is quite a long video. I want to see, there was, let's have a look. So this is him coming into the...
Thankfully, we're not physically hurt. You heard Colonel Mike Hager last night becoming emotional.
In shock of the tragedy. And you can find a link to this GoFundMe on our website.
Oh, so there is a GoFundMe to help raise funds to lay Clinton and Kristen to rest. And let's have a look at the GoFundMe, see where we've got to with it. Seems like a knee-jerk reaction, doesn't it, GoFundMes these days? But of course, they won't be expected to, have died. So I suppose let's have a look at it. So $51,000 raised so far. I just think sometimes these GoFundMes pop up too soon. But anyway, as I say, if you want to make a donation, if anyone deserves it, these children do, that's for sure. Their target is $70,000. And yeah, so who set it up? Who set it up? The organizer is Sherry Reid. Well, I don't even know who Sherry Reid is, so yeah. Anyway, the GoFundMe's there. I'm not going to criticize it if people want to donate to it. Yeah. So many of you have heard of the horrific tragedy that took place at Devil's Den State Park. During an outing with his family, Clinton Brink, the son of my dear cousin Carrie, and his wife Kristen were taken from us. He was a son, a brother, a nephew, an uncle, a cousin, a father, of course, a loving husband to Kristen Brink, and an amazing father. Clinton and Kristen were loving parents to their 3 precious daughters, devoted to one another, devoted to their girls, and devoted to God. Their lives were stolen senselessly and cruelly. We want this individual caught and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. He robbed these precious girls of their mum and dad and mother of her son, mother and father of their daughters. We are kindly asking if you can please help us to raise funds to lay Clinton and Kristen to rest and help these 2 little girls with whatever they may need. You know, personally, I think it's a little bit too early to do this, so I think there'll be a lot of people that will want to donate towards the girls. You know, but it's all very unclear, isn't it, at the moment, the whole situation. But you know what? If you feel like donating, just go ahead and donate it. It's a deserving cause. Yeah, whatever you can donate will be greatly appreciated by Clinton and Kristen's entire family as we navigate the grief, devastation and shock of this tragedy. Our hearts are broken and lives are forever changed. With grateful hearts, we want to thank you for your continued support as we navigate this new reality. So, we've had 553 donations and they've raised so far $51,000. So, there you go. Where am I going to go now? I'm going back to the video, I think, when I can find it. That one go down. Sorry, I'm just putting some windows down. So I get okay, going back to that video. So yeah, there was some, I think there was the video of him going into the, let's see. I've seen that. Let's go forward a bit. Oh, the police conference, the new police conference.
Locate that suspect vehicle at a barber shop in Springdale, which is what you're looking at here, around 5 o'clock last night. Investigators went into the barber shop. They identified themselves.
Appreciate you guys coming out this afternoon. We're going to just kind of go through some bullet point information, and I'm sure it's going to spawn a lot of questions. We're going to try to answer as many of those questions as we can. Want to introduce our partners. Well, actually, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, but we do have our 2 deputy directors, Lieutenant Colonel Mike Kennedy and Lieutenant Colonel Jason Aaron, that are with us, and I believe the rest of the people behind me will speak, and I'll let them introduce themselves. I want to start by thanking our investigators. It's hard to express the amount of time and effort and energy that goes into an investigation like this. You could see it on their face when we walked into headquarters last night and had the opportunity to see them, talk to them, thank them in person at the culmination of this. They're absolutely exhausted. They put every bit of their heart and soul into this investigation to get this suspect brought into custody and taken off the streets. And I cannot thank them enough for that. Also want to thank our law enforcement partners. We are truly blessed in Arkansas. It's not always common, and that's unfortunate, but we have a relationship with our state, local, and federal counterparts that's second to none. There was an incredible amount of cooperation and collaboration that went into this investigation. No part is less than any other's part. There's a total package that has to be looked at, has to be investigated, and these groups work together in a very impressive way, and we can't thank them enough. Not just on this case, but in every case that we work within state police. To have that partnership with them is really valuable. I want to thank the public for providing images and videos from cell phones, home, and business security footage that directly advanced this investigation. We'll talk a little bit more about how that played out, but the information that was put out and the request for information back from the public directly resulted in this person being brought into custody. It allowed our investigators a starting point to move forward and to use their skills that they've developed over the years and their experience to bring this person into custody. We had about 500 tips that came in through our phone lines, social media. Not only were there a lot of tips that came in, and we're very thankful for that, but there's a lot of people that have to field those tips. And it's not all badge-wearing, gun-toting members of the state police or Department of Public Safety. We had a lot of civilian personnel that were tasked with that. There was a lot of time and energy spent on triaging those tips and making sure they went to the right people. And so we owe a great gratitude for that support staff that helped with this as well. Although everyone is innocent until proven guilty, we did confirm this morning that our suspect's DNA has been a positive match to the DNA that we suspected to belong to our suspect at the scene.
So his DNA matches. So he's not got much chance of getting away with this crime, has he? His DNA matches. You feel like it's game over, really.
During an interview with investigators, the suspect indicated that he did commit these murders.
Oh.
We executed a search warrant at his residence.
So it sounds that during the interviews he indicated he did commit these murders. So is he going to plead guilty?
There were articles found there that are consistent with being involved in this particular crime. And I will let Major Rhodes speak more of that or more to those details. We do believe he acted alone. We have absolutely no reason to believe that there's anyone else involved, and we do not anticipate any future arrest or any other arrest beyond this suspect. I'm going to go ahead and pass off to Major Stacy Rhodes. She can walk through a little bit more of the information, and I'll return to the podium and we'll answer any questions we can. Thanks.
Well, good afternoon. As he indicated, I'm Major Stacy Rhodes. I oversee the Criminal Investigation Division for the State Police. And I kind of want to walk you through how we initiated and progressed through our investigation. So, as you all know, we responded to a call for service at the state parks. Two young children were found and indicated that something had happened to their parents on the trail. That initial information that came from the kids gave us our first starting point, which was a description of a suspect. There was another witness at the park that we encountered that gave us additional information about the suspect and a particular vehicle that he was seen leaving the park. With that, we took the information, completed and let me kind of, we'll start there. So from there, we had a pretty good description of our suspect.
Now, I can't go into this whole thing because I've got to go in a minute, unfortunately. But anyway, this, you can watch the actual whole police conference. You can watch online. But I think the important things, we've seen him being arrested. His DNA has been confirmed to be at the scene. He apparently has confessed to the crime. So it looks like hopefully it's a slam dunk type thing. I just want to show you one more thing. So apparently, because as we know, he was a teacher, and it seems that he had just, he'd had, why is that not coming up? These are sort of posts that he'd put. Jennifer Coffin-Dutcher, as I call her, was Andrew McGann's target, the girls. Now, the police are saying the girls, there's no evidence to show that the girls were the target. But, you can't help but wonder, why would he attack a family? It's very odd. I'd like to know his motives, but if he's got one, or maybe he's just a psycho who doesn't need a motive. But he's taught in 3 different school districts in 3 different states. Louisville, Texas in 2023, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma in 2024, and Springdale, Arkansas. Sorry, I'm never going to get over this pronunciation. In Springdale in 2025. So he's moved around. Apparently was thought of being, there were complaints against his behavior, and he was allowed to quietly resign instead of being prosecuted. So here it says, hello, my name is Drew McGann. I'm thrilled to be a part of the Bayari team this year as a 3rd grade teacher. I have 3 years of certified teaching experience and a Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education from Oklahoma State University. In my free time, I love going to concerts with friends, working out and being outdoors and murdering married couples. I look forward to being an asset to the Bayari family this year and living in the gorgeous state of Arkansas. So, yeah. There he is. Oh, yeah. Apparently he was on dating apps. Oh, my God. This is it. You go on these. Oh, look at him there with the pussycat. Yeah, such a lovely guy with this really weird mop of hair. Oh, my God. Oh. People have probably been on dates with him on Tinder or, whatever dating, Plenty of Fish or whatever dating sites people go on these days. So apparently classmates noted inappropriate behavior from him towards several little girls in the class, and it was reported to the principal, Heather Shorter. This is at Donald Elementary. At the time, he was allowed to resign without any consequence and even went on to continue teaching in another district. I don't know if this is true. This is what somebody is saying. This is what Jennifer's reporting. Finding out he went on to kill a couple in front of their 2 little girls is horrifying. And the fact there were warning signs and he was continually allowed to get around children is a travesty. But do you know why? Do you know why he was continually allowed around children? Because he's a white male. He's an all-American boy. He's not an immigrant. If he was an immigrant, it'd be everybody be up in arms. Look at this. Sorry, it's just making me laugh, his hair. Oh my God, you could stuff a pillow with that hair, couldn't you? And the thing is, nobody's saying, oh yeah, all-American boy murders all-American married couple, are they? If he was an immigrant, that would be everywhere. Monsters walk amongst us and they don't look like what we think they do. So these are the pictures. This is jail. I'll talk about this, but look, yeah, make America great again. Now, JLR is saying here, I'm told the husband was wearing a Trump hat and shirt when he was murdered. It's possible, isn't it? People have committed murders. I said this right from the beginning. I mentioned about the Trump T-shirt he's had. You should be able to wear, you know, whether I like Trump or not, which personally I don't. That doesn't matter. Anyone should be able to make the political statement they want to. If they want to wear a Trump T-shirt, if they want to wear a Margaret Thatcher T-shirt, if they want to wear a Netanyahu T-shirt, everyone should be able to do it if they want to do it. It shouldn't be a reason for killing people, should it? But it's a possible motive, isn't it? Because, you know, these days you only got to look at someone the wrong way and somebody might stab you or whatever. You know, that's how it feels. It's like, you know, oh, so he's showing pictures of the girls. I wouldn't really think that's a good idea. Sorry, I didn't realise before I showed that the girls were on it. I will block them out. I'm going to save that picture, but I will blur the pictures of the girls. Yeah, it's funny because anyway, never mind. Let me just I just want to save that image so that I can blur out the pictures of the girls. Yeah. Oh, there's the video of him getting out of his car and going into the hair salon. So she said he appeared tired, sunburned, and unusually quiet. Anyway. Yeah, so look, Jennifer Coffin, I thought, could it possibly be Travis Decker? But anyway, it's not Travis Decker. Travis Decker's still out there somewhere, hopefully deceased. Okay. So that's it. So I hope you found that interesting. We just hope for justice, don't we, for this family? Sounds like maybe he's admitted to it, but wait till his defense lawyer gets hold of him. Oh, they'll probably come out with some story that maybe it was Travis Decker or it was some Odinist who did it, or all the crap that defense lawyers come out with. But I'll keep you informed, obviously, about this case and about the other case we talked about the 76-year-old who poisoned 8 people, 8 children, allegedly, in the UK. I'll keep you updated on all the cases. So please don't forget to subscribe, like, share. These are free ways you can help out this channel if you enjoy it. And why not become a member? Okay, thank you so much. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Thank you. Well, I've got the wrong song on there. Hang on. This one. Thank you.